We're going to be talking about portfolio career today, and Zeenat has had an extraordinary career pathway to where she is at the moment. I shall tell you a little bit about the topic because for many people, you might have heard the term being bandied about, but not really understood what it is. So portfolio career, it was first mooted by management consultant writer Charles Handy. Some of you may know the name, in the 1990s. And it essentially refers to a person who's doing 2 or more different jobs for different employers. And you can literally think of it as a portfolio. So you're carrying around with you all the skills and abilities you need to be able to design the life that you want for yourself. Those skills are not used in the same place. So it's a scheme that you pursue purposefully and positively. It's not just about having, disparate bits of work that you do, but it's something that you pursue with the intention of combining those skills to enable you to work well. So Zeenat, let me tell you a little bit about Zeenat. Her role now is as a mental health wellbeing therapist mainly, but she successfully holds a lot of other roles as part of her career. She's an NLP practitioner. She's a guru in the health and beauty industry. She's a yoga teacher. And something that you may not know about Zeenat is that she was a successful figure skater. So who best to talk about portfolio careers? So Zeenat, welcome to the session today.
Thank you, Denise. It's absolutely lovely to be here on the Career Hub to kind of share my portfolio. So hopefully, show them the kind of skills and knowledge that I've kind of learned and acquired over the years to help others out there, who may be kind of stuck or looking to change. Yeah, just to be really useful. So thank you for having me.
Yes. It's a challenging time at the moment, and people are making, lots of decisions or have had to think about making those decisions probably a little bit earlier than they would have. So anything that we can do to help them, it's really good. So I shall start by asking you to share your journey, your story around these few questions that I've got outlined here. As you know, it's just a short interview, so we'll see how much we can get covered during this time. Yeah. We can talk forever, I know that. So could you tell me a little bit about your career journey from figure skater to wellbeing therapist?
Right, okay. I mean, like Denise said, we've only got a short time, so I could talk for hours on this. But in short, in terms of my career line, once I finished my A-levels, I qualified as an interior designer. So I worked in that field for a little while, and that was in the Middle East. So that's a whole different kind of lifestyle. Yeah. This was back in, the early sort of 90s, late 80s, early 90s. So you can imagine very different times now. Along the career path, I've worked in retail.
Yeah.
I've worked as a sales executive consultant, so selling to corporate companies touchscreen systems when they first came out.
Wow.
Also, then I worked in recruitment, which was very interesting. So yes, I did a little bit of that, not for too long, but did a little bit of it. But then deep down, between all of this happening, my passion always lay in figure skating. So ice skating was something that I was truly passionate and wanted to follow that line of career. So I started teaching a little bit, and this was again in Dubai, and then eventually led me to my career as a professional figure skater, joining touring shows like Disney on Ice, Holiday on Ice, Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Amazing. So from that, I then eventually did that up until 2015. That's when I stopped figure skating. I then dedicated myself to working a little bit on television. I was in Spain, so dancing, that kind of field as a dancer.
Yes.
And then I kind of got to a point where I felt like I needed more stability in my life and to kind of just maybe calm myself a little bit. So then I came back to the UK and I trained as a teacher.
Okay, wow. Massive.
Working in that career. Yes, I know. It's just like jumping, but there's always a story to everything that in my career change. And then teaching eventually didn't plan out as well as I wanted it to. But I felt that I think I was introduced to coaching while I was teaching in my early career teaching. And I got really drawn to it and thought, hang on a minute, this is such a great skill to have in order to enhance myself as a teacher and the children to help them. So I kind of went down that line and started training up as a coach, a life coach. And as we know, things didn't happen. Well, you don't know, but as things happen. And I resigned from teaching, and I took up going into my own business, becoming a life coach. But I really wanted to focus on mental health and well-being, purely because of the experiences I had during my teaching career. That's what drew my passion even more. That's me in a nutshell.
And it couldn't have been even more timely, because now faced with the pandemic and the way that lots of people are required to kind of just come to grips with things, mental health and well-being is top of the agenda. So in a way, your career pathway has prepared you and equipped you for a time, like this. So that's really great. So tell me, what are some of the skills and experiences you feel that you've developed along the way that you're now using in your current role?
So I would definitely say, I love talking and communicating with people. So communication is, language communication is fundamental. Also because, in my career, I've done a lot of traveling. So, not everybody speaks English in every country. So again, how do you learn to communicate effectively with people? So that has been a great skill for me throughout my career, and in all the jobs I've had, so in my portfolio. Self-belief. Believe me, I've had times where I haven't had the confidence, and I don't feel good enough in something, that somebody's better than me, but really reminding myself that self-belief is so important. Believing that you can do things. And that you want.
That is even more relevant now for people who are making career change and maybe just a little bit wobbly and wondering, can I really do this? I've worked in this area for a number of years, or this is a totally new environment for me. I haven't had to interview for a while. So that confidence is definitely something that people can work on, and it can be developed,
Yes.
So that's great.
And also knowing your value, your value and your worth. When I moved from Spain back here to go back into teaching, I was like, really, do I want to go back to university? Can I do that as a mature student? So whether it's going back to, to school, or you're going into another job, a career, like it applies everywhere. Your self-value and your self-worth.
And I think that is those are fundamental areas really that any coaching could support individuals with.
With that,
you mentioned about you mentioned about professional preparation to move into this new role. So what did you have to do for that?
So in terms of preparation, I had to think about all the wonderful skills that I've got. So I say wonderful because we don't often look at what we're good at. And what our strengths are. So that is so important to really know. Again, it's going back to yourself, your inner self, deep down inside, and knowing who you are. and what you can bring. So all the wonderful things like, you know, I'm great at listening, my communication skills, empathy, you know, teamwork, all of these were the things that I had to think about in terms of preparation for, you know, my new role. What can I bring to it? And of course, you have to, you know, do the usual things that is about researching your job line, you know, what are the pros and cons? Is it something that and I go about saying it again, passion. So I'm very passionate about things that I do, and I have to be passionate. Otherwise, there's no point me staying in that job. Something that lights me up, and I want to wake up in the morning and go, yay, I'm off. I'm going to go and see a client today, and I'm going to be coaching X, Y, and Z. Just having that passion. So research it. I looked at all the different types of qualifications. So not just in one academy, but, you know, like for me, in terms of my professional coaching qualification, I looked at about maybe 6 or 7 different ones and kind of shortlisted that, which would fit me best. You know, who's going to train me the best? That's really going to develop my skills and my knowledge. So that's really important in terms of preparation. Yes, definitely. And what CPDs are in offer, because you know, are you the type of person who continually wants to develop yourself personally and professionally? So that's really important as well. There's some fantastic pointers there, and you touched on one of the things that is you know, really important for me. It's about you know, ensuring that we're operating from a position of strength wherever we're making those decisions. And part of my own program for coaching analyzes those you know, areas for individuals, because I think if you are working in an area where, you know, you feel energized, and as you mentioned, that passion comes out, then you know, you do so much better. So some really great points there that you shared. Right. Okay. So just a little bit about the mental well-being bit, and I'm just going to pick your brains a bit. So how would you advise someone who's job searching to maintain their mental well-being? Because, you know, again, we mentioned it's really hard at times out there. Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're all guilty of kind of losing track of our well-being, well, many of us anyway. But I think, you know, during this time of the pandemic, you know, some people have become very good at it. Some people have really struggled and still struggling to have that balance while they're looking for jobs. I think for me, and it, you know, you can take this, and it's not just for now, but it's for your entire career, really, and your entire life, is, you know, have a schedule, you know, a timetable that's visible, where you're actually slotting in time for yourself. Right. So whether it's 15 minutes in the day or half an hour, and I would fundamentally say 30 minutes of your own time a day, schedule that in. If you can do more, fantastic. But, you know, at least 30 minutes, and say, right, that's the time I'm either going to go and exercise, take a walk, read a book, but something that you love. And that it's got to be something that you love doing, that you enjoy doing. That's going to take your focus away from the pressures of you job hunting or job searching or writing your CV, any of those, or preparing for an interview. Give yourself those breaks. True. And, you know, just start developing on your self-awareness of knowing when to stop and wind down. Now, a good way is having a timer, or setting an alarm on your watch, or you know, if you've got the Apple Watch, which is great. I mean, I love my Apple Watch. It tells me to stand up every hour. You know, and you know what? Just pulling your screen away for just a couple of minutes and stretching does immense. What's the word? I've lost the word now. It does so much for your brain power. Right. And the refocusing of clarity, because then that blood circulates. So again, you know, every hour to just even stand up and take a couple of stretches, you know, like that, and turn around, move away from the screen, look at something outside, green. Refocus your eyes.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of screen usage and screen time, with everything now on Zoom or Teams or, you know, whichever platform people are using, it's important to have those scheduled breaks in. They may not come natural to you, but you know, having them scheduled is key.
And you know what? In time, it does become part of you, because it becomes your habitual pattern then, and you'll end up doing it without thinking, you know. And the other thing I you know, that's really, really important is food and sleep.
Yes.
Make sure you're hydrated, you're eating well, you know, the right amounts of food. You know, I'm not going to talk about nutrition or diets and things like that. Just do what you feel right in terms of the right food, and sleep at reasonable times.
Yes.
You know, I know I spoke to you earlier about brain dumping, as some people call it. You've got worries on your mind before you're going to sleep. Write them down on a, you know, on a notepad, and address them in the morning. Take them out of your mind.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I was on another webinar, and they were talking about just that in terms of well-being, talking about it for business owners, but it's relevant for everybody. The importance of journaling, or you know, writing your thoughts down, and you know, just getting that information physically out of your head and onto into another space, so that you're not you know, wearing yourself out basically with all of this.
There is a lot of pressure.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes people might feel that they have to be constantly switched on because they don't want to miss out on, you know, an opportunity that comes by. But you also have to be in a good frame of mind and, you know, good health to take the advantages when they come. So definitely something to think about.
I think, you know, at the end of the day, with everything, you know, and I say this often, is control the things that you can control and let go of the things you can't control. And the one thing you can control is yourself, without a doubt.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, we're almost at the end. That 15 minutes has gone by really quickly. Oh my goodness. So could you give us with your 3 tips that you have found helpful to help you to manage these different aspects of your portfolio?
Okay, there's so many things, but I think specifically if we're talking about now with the pandemic we're in, you know, I think all those skills have come in use for me now, but the one thing I would say is keep talking. Keeping in contact, talk to people that you trust in, whether you're struggling or you want to find out information. Don't keep it to yourself. Have conversations with people, depending on what it is. If it's about your mental health and well-being, there are so many people out there that you can talk to, or family members, if you know, you've got that relationship with them. If it's jobs, there's so many people. I mean, there's Denise there. I'm sure, you know, you can talk to Denise about all of this, you know, to help you just get clarity. So talk to people regarding what's worrying you. Also, I would say networking has been wonderful. Whether you've lost your job or not, or you're looking for a new career line, I would honestly recommend networking, because you really don't know what's going to come from meeting people, and what other skills and knowledge can be beneficial to you. So keep on networking. Use the time, if you've got time, to self-develop, whether that's doing online courses, refresher courses, reading self-help, self-development books, or just even reading your own novel, but just do something like that. Those are the things I think that's really important. So read around what you want to do, but that's not going to be stressful to you.
Yes. Yeah. That's you know, some really good tips there, because again, if if we find that the portfolio career is a pathway for us, then you know, you need to be in control of, the outcomes that you're seeking. So, getting that help is important too.
I'd just like to add one more thing. Also, look at your past career and use the time, a tip to manage your portfolio is to think about what knowledge and skills have you got and learned from the past that you can now take into the next role or the future. Because guaranteed, there are skills and knowledge that you have that you can transferable skills.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you very much. That's a really full on, conversation there. I'm sure we've gone well past the time, but there's more than enough there for people to take away. So thank you very much for, sharing your journey and the hints and tips, and for taking your time today as well, because I know you're a very busy person. So I really appreciate you coming on and being with me.